Evolution in the Real World: Antibiotic Overuse Driving the Evolution of Resistance by Lauren Allen. The appropriate use of antibiotics is necessary to target drug-resistant bacterial infections and prevent further bacterial resistance from emerging. However, antibiotic overprescribing has become prominent in outpatient settings, such as clinics and emergency departments. Antibiotic overuse and overprescribing in outpatient care can be attributed to patients taking leftover antibiotics from a previous prescription, clinicians prescribing antibiotics before test results confirm a bacterial infection, or patients taking antibiotics they purchase online or in another country after self-diagnosing a bacterial illness. Due to antibiotic overuse and overprescribing, more than 70% of the bacteria responsible for the 2 million infections acquired in U.S. hospitals each year are resistant to at least one commonly used antibiotic, such as the resistance of S. aureus to penicillin. Natural selection is a process whereby species that have traits that allow them to adapt in an environment survive and reproduce, passing their genes to the next generation. Species which can adapt to a certain setting will grow in numbers and eventually outnumber those species that can't adapt. The natural selection process enables a species to better adapt to its environment by gradually changing its genetic configuration with every passing generation. Directed by the use of antibiotics, antibiotic resistance is a result of the process of natural selection. When a bacteria population is faced with the antibiotic challenge, most of the susceptible bacteria are killed, while the resistant bacteria survive. Only the fittest bacteria continue to proliferate in the presence of the antibiotic, and they increase in number over time, leading to the spread of resistance mechanisms. The result is a population of mainly resistant bacteria. A mutation is any permanent change to the genomic sequence of an organism, and they're the leading cause of genetic diversity. Mutational effects can be harmful, beneficial, or neutral, depending on their context or location. Some mutations affect only the individual that carries them, while other mutations affect all of the carrier organism's offspring and their further descendants. The simplest and most harmless mutations involve the substitution of a single base pair, while at the other end are insertion or deletion mutations, which lead to non-functioning gene products. For bacteria to become resistant to antibiotics, there are 4 common mutations they undergo. Bacteria can mutate, allowing their enzymes to eat and deactivate the antibiotics, and they can mutate, allowing themselves to eject the antibiotics. Bacteria can also undergo a mutation in which their bacterial wall prevents antibiotics from entering, and they can undergo a mutation enabling themselves to acquire a new way of processing energy. Horizontal gene transfer is a process whereby genetic material can be transferred between individual bacteria of the same or different species. The 3 mechanisms of horizontal gene transfer in bacteria are conjugation, transduction, and transformation, where conjugation is the most common method among bacteria. Conjugation occurs when there's direct cell-to-cell contact between 2 bacteria, and the transfer of plasmids takes place, which are the small pieces of DNA. Transformation is the process where DNA parts are taken up by the bacteria from the external environment, and transduction is the process where bacteria-specific viruses transfer DNA between 2 related bacteria. Horizontal gene transfer is another mechanism beyond mutation responsible for a bacterium gaining resistance. Once a single bacterial species has managed to resist antibiotics with a gene or genes, it gets copied and passed around to other bacteria via horizontal gene transfer. The combined effects of the genetic processes of selection and mutation, and the ability to transfer genes, has led to antibiotic resistance taking place very rapidly in evolutionary time.